On this video lesson, you will be subtracting rational numbers involving fractions. So let's take a look at them. So we have negative 4 and 1/7 minus 5, 7. Please remember that this number is positive. This negative sign here belongs to the subtraction that you're about to do. So when we are subtracting rational numbers, you pretty much use the same rules as when you're subtracting integers. Do you remember from a previous video? You need to add the opposite of the second integer. In this case, we're going to add the opposite of the second rational number. So let's do negative 4 and 1/7 plus the opposite of 5, 7, which is negative 5, 7. All right? So you can find the absolute value of them, or you can even do it mentally. You know that the absolute value of negative, let me do it here, absolute value of negative 4 and 1/7 is positive 4 and 1/7, and absolute value of negative 5, 7 is pretty much positive 5, 7. So now that you already know that, you can see that they have the same sign. So when you have the same sign, you need to add their absolute value and use the sign that they have in common. So before I actually add them, I am going to change this mixed number into an improper fraction. 7 times 4 is 28, and then plus 1 will be 29 out of 7. So now I'm ready to add their absolute value. 29/7 plus 5/7. As they have the same denominator, I do not have to look for the least common denominator. I just add my numerators and keep the same denominator. 29 plus 5 is equals to 34, and I will keep the same denominator. Whenever you have an improper fraction where the numerator is greater than the denominator, you need to change that into a mixed number by dividing them. Let's see. How many times does 7 fits into 34? Well, 4 times, because 7 times 4 is 28. And if I divide 34 minus 28, my answer will be 6. So here is my new mixed number. This is a whole number, 4. This is my numerator, 6. And my denominator will stay the same. As they both have the same sign, I will keep the same sign. So my answer, let me write it down here so you can see better. It will be negative 4 and 6/7. Pause the video and try to do this one by yourself. Remember, add the opposite of the second number, of the second rational number. All right, so let's do 1/3 plus the opposite of negative 1/3, which is positive 1/3, okay? Now I'm going to add their absolute values because they have the same sign. Remember, absolute value of 1/3 is pretty much 1/3. Absolute value of 1/3 here, again, is 1/3. So as they have the same denominator, I will keep the same denominator and add the numerators. So it is 2/3. As they have the same sign, which is positive, I will keep the same sign. And this is my final answer. Pause the video and try to do this one by yourself. All right, so let's see. The first thing that I notice here is that, again, they have the same denominator. So I do not have to find the least common denominator. So remember, you need to add the opposite of the second number. So in this case, I am subtracting negative 3 and 1/3 minus positive 2/3. So let's write it down here. Negative 3 and 1/3 plus the opposite of positive 2/3, which is negative 2/3. okay? Before I find their absolute values, I would like to turn this mixed number into an improper fraction. So I'll do 3 times 3, which is 9, plus 1 is 10. So it will be negative 10 thirds, okay? Plus the opposite of positive 2/3, which is negative 2/3, okay? Now I know that as they have the same sign, I need to add their absolute values. Absolute value of negative 10 third, it is positive 10 third. Absolute value of negative 2/3, it is positive 2/3. So I am ready to add my numerator. 10 plus 2 is equals to 12. Denominator stays the same. As I have an improper fraction here, I need to divide them. I know that 12 divided by 3 is 4. So I don't have to do my long division because I can do it mentally. And now I need to think. Both of these numbers are negative. So I need to keep the same sign. So in this case, the answer is negative 4. Take a look at this last example. They have different denominators. So I will give you a hint. You need to find the least common denominator. So please pause the video and try to do this subtraction. All right. So before I actually start, I will change these mixed numbers into improper fraction. So 3 times 8, which is 24. 24 plus 2, which is 26. And I need to keep the same denominator, all right? So it will be negative 26 out of 3. Remember that I need to find the opposite of the second number. But before I do that, let me change them to improper fraction. 6 times 6 is 36. 36 plus 1 is 37. So this is actually 37 out of 6. Okay? So now I'm ready to write my first fraction. In this case, is negative 26 out of 3. And add the opposite of the second number, negative 37/6, as this is positive 37/6. And now I see that they have the same sign. So I'm going to add their absolute value. So remember, absolute value of negative 26 out of 3, it is positive 26 out of 3. Absolute value of negative 37 out of 6, it is positive 37 out of 6. So now I'm ready to do my addition. I'm going to add my two absolute value because they have the same sign. So it will be 26 third plus 37/6. As they have different denominators, I need to find the least common denominator. In this case, is 6. So I'll multiply this one by 2. Remember, whatever you do in the denominator, you also need to do it in the numerator. So I'll do 26 times 2, which is 52. And 3 times 2 is 6. So I have 52/6 plus 37/6. Now I am ready to add them because they have the same denominator. So I will do 52 plus 37, which is 89. And I will keep the same denominator. Again, I cannot stay with this improper fraction. So I need to do my division. 6 right here, 89 here. 6 fits into 8 only one time. So I'm going to do the subtraction here. 8 minus 6 is 2. And I'm going to bring the 9. 6 fits into 29 basically 4 times. Because 6 times 4, it is 24. 29 minus 24 is equals to 5. So my mixed number will be 14 and 5, 6. So my final answer here has to be negative because both of these numbers are negative. So it will be negative 14 and 5, 6.